What's going on, guys? So I decided to make we're going to call this a raw edit, raw video, meaning it's going to go straight from my phone right onto YouTube. What is this about? Well, it's about FPV. Freestyle? Racing? Is FPV dead? What's going on here? What are people talking about? Why are people saying FPV's dead? Why do they say racing's dead? Why do they say freestyle's dead? Here's my point. My opinion. So, do I think FPV's dead? No. It's not dead at all. What I do think is it's just a whole new world now. When FPV started, you got to think, man, these drones, they didn't fly as good as they do today. They didn't do as good as they do today. It took a lot more to race. It took a lot more to freestyle. And in the beginning, 3 or 4 years ago, freestyle was amazing because there was all these new tricks. There was only a handful of pilots that could do these things. The introduction of like bandos, not my dog. The introduction of bandos was just this epic thing, and not everybody had access to bandos, or at least they didn't think they did. And what we're learning now is there's bandos everywhere, and people are able to fly them, and it's cool. But I think what has happened is, in our community, and we're a small community, but I think we have gotten to a point, at least in the freestyle world, of it's not dead, it's played out. There's nothing new, nothing creative. Just think about this. About 2 years ago when Mr. Steele did the drift car chasing? And everybody's like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. Or no, I'm sorry, it was Johnny. Johnny FPV did the drift car. He started with that kind of stuff. Dude, those were epic videos. We all loved them. We're like, we want to do that. Well, then somebody went to a drift track and did it. And then somebody else went to a drift track and did it. And somebody else, and somebody else, and so on, and so on. And next thing you know, YouTube's flooded with drift car chasing. Is it awesome? Yes. Is it as exciting as it was when Johnny FPV did it? No. And then different versions of freestyle started coming out. Then long range, then cinematic. And I think it hasn't... FPV's not dead. It just doesn't have the same spark as it used to, especially to us older pilots who've been around for a while. I've been doing this 6-7 years. Some guys out here have been doing it 8-9 years. Some even longer. And then when you start trying to compare racing to freestyle, this, that, A, B, C, D versus E, F, G, you start getting this battle. And at the end of the day, we're all flying our drones. We're all having fun. So I don't think FPV's dead. I think FPV has changed. Some for good, some for bad. I think that we used to have a good handful of YouTubers that we would go and watch. We would have freestyle YouTubers, we'd have a couple racing YouTubers, and we'd have a couple knowledgeable teacher YouTubers. And when I got into FPV, that was kind of the thing. Like, you get an FPV on the freestyle side of things, and you create a YouTube channel, and you post for all your friends to watch, and all your friends would watch it. Then it started becoming for lack of better terms, a pissing contest. Who can get the most views? Who can get the most subscribers? Who can get sponsorships so they can get stuff for free? And we started battling against each other, and not in a competitive way, in a toxic way, like in the real world type way. FPV, when we're in those goggles, that's our world. And that takes all that crap out of it. But as the hobby grew and more people have gotten into it, all that outside world that we block away with those goggles and why we love FPV so much started bringing all that shit in. I have seen more drama now over the last couple years than I did when I first started with FPV. I have seen more he said, she said crap. I have seen more arguments over what's better, freestyle, 5S, 6S, long range, what props. If you use these props, you're a moron. If you don't use what I use, you're no good. I mean, it's gotten toxic, guys. We got to cut that shit out. And if that means that people who are joining the hobby are toxic, they need to change their attitudes, because that's not what this is about. This hobby is about people who are humble. If you go back in my videos a few years back, 3 or 4 years, I think, there's a video where I'm thanking everybody. And the reason why I was thanking everybody was, long story short, at the time, my son was flying with me. We went out to go fly some tiny whoops at a buddy's house. Had a good time. After we left, on our way home, we randomly decided to stop somewhere to get some dinner. I had tinted windows. All of our gear was in the back seat of my truck. And it was tiny whoop stuff, so it was little cases. They were actually I think they were like a rebranded camera case that had foam with whoop stuff cut out. If it fit your controller, your goggles, a bunch of whoops batteries, they were awesome. But they looked like high-end camera cases. And these were in the back of the truck, and me and my son went in, doors locked, no big deal. Went in, we had our dinner, we came back out, and my back window was busted out, and all of our whoop stuff was gone. And the reason that I know it wasn't somebody who knew us, that knew about drones and FPV, is because when we were at our buddy's house flying tiny whoops, he gave my son a 5-inch race drone because my son wanted to get into racing, and I just couldn't afford to build him a 5-inch drone. That brand new drone was still sitting on the seat. So they didn't take that. They took the cases that looked like high-end camera cases. With that being said, the community, within less than a week, guys, I had packages showing up at my house left and right. Radios, goggles, full-built quads, ESCs, motors, flight controllers, cameras, VTXs, props, frames. Stuff just started pouring in because people are reaching out and helping. As a matter of fact, I had so much stuff that I was able to get me and my son both back up flying, and I had enough stuff to pass it on to somebody else who fell on to hard times and either had to sell their stuff got stolen, they lost it in a fire, whatever the case may be. And I made it my goal from that day forward to always pay it forward and help people. And that's what this community was always about. It was about paying things forward, helping each other out, and keeping each other flying, because it was a hobby that took us away from this sick world of all this lying and negativity and all the garbage that we deal with on a daily basis. So, is FPV dead? No, it's not dead. It's got the flu right now. It needs some cold medicine. We need to get rid of the negativity. We need to get rid of, I don't want to say get rid of people, because everybody's, it's a free country and a free, not a free world, but, if you're able to fly drones where you live, you should have the right to do so. And I don't want to take that from anybody, but I hate seeing people coming into the hobby that it's bringing all that outside negativity into it. And that's what I feel is happening with FPV today. So no, not dead, just sick. And we need to fix it. With that being said, one last thing before I end this video. I stand firm on this. There is no such thing anymore called whoop season. Whoop all year round. Whoop season made sense 4 or 5 years ago when whoops sucked. They're fun to fly in the house. They're fun to have little races and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you couldn't freestyle a whoop. You could barely flip and roll on a whoop. Most of the time you couldn't. Brush motors, the can motors. Nowadays, I'm watching guys do trippy spins, matty flips. I'm watching guys race so fast that I can't even comprehend what's going on. Whoop all year round, guys. Don't limit yourself. Have fun with that. Plus, here in the States, with all the garbage going on, that outside world coming in, the FAA cracking down if that's something you care about. If you don't, hey, that's your choice, man. You got your choice. But FPV is different today than it was 5-6 years ago. With all that being said, guys, this was just a 10-minute video actually, but kind of a little rant video. No editing. I mean, you can see my screensaver on my TV's changing the color. I set up no lights. I'm just sitting here in the living room. I was scrolling through Facebook. I seen a couple different posts about, who's better than who, and then I see a post about FPV being dead, and I guess, anyways, I seen the post, and I kind of wanted to put my opinion out there. So I'm gonna upload this video for you guys to watch it. Drop a comment in the bottom, man. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think FPV is dead? Is it dead to you? Or is it dead altogether? Or do you think it's just sick? Do you think that the outside world has corrupted our little magical world in those goggles? I don't know, guys. Whatever you guys do, just be kind to each other, man. There's a great man who once said, be kind to each other. You gotta love each other. The world's got enough negativity, guys. So let's keep things positive. Keep those smiles going. And I will be making another vlog for you guys probably in a couple weeks with some more whoop racing. So look forward to making that. I love making them vlogs. I love when you guys watch them and drop comments. It makes my little heart flatter. But anyways, all right, guys. Have an awesome day. Keep being awesome. And you do you, boo.